Who does not love the Cadillac Escalade? It's large, it's luxurious, it's fun to ride in, it's fun to drive, especially with Magnaride. And in the V edition, it is maybe a little obnoxious. I just spent a week driving the Cadillac Escalade V, and the good news is that the V edition, which carries almost a third more price, about $150,000 versus about $100,000 for a nicely equipped Cadillac Escalade, it's pricey. What do you get for that money? Well, you get this super powerful engine, you get a really lovely ride. It is a delight to drive. It's really fast, and it has braking, and it has Magnaride, it has sport braking, and it has Magnaride that makes that fast drive much more manageable and much more pleasurable. It's not a sports car by any means, but listen to this. Sounds like a sports car. So how do you know that this is the super luxurious top line Cadillac Escalade V? Well, there's only a couple of ways that you would know. One is this. So that startup noise is incredible. It is loud, and if you find that it's too loud, you can actually tap the mode button over here to the left of the steering wheel, and you can actually tone down the engine sound. Once I set up my profile, I can set my engine sound so it's low and not super loud. And it is definitely a lot quieter in stealth mode than it is in full V mode. We're out here in this lovely park in Central Texas, and I'm about to be the most obnoxious neighbor ever. The Cadillac Escalade V is a V8. It has 680 horsepower. That's a lot of horsepower. That is like track-worthy horsepower. Escalade gets its V power from the V series sedans. So think the CT5 Blackwing, the CT4 Blackwing. Those cars are designed for the racetrack, and they have these supercharged engines which give the power to the Escalade V that not only allows it to haul this car at amazing speed, but also gives it that throaty growl. Another great feature is Blue Cruise, and that is set here just by turning on your adaptive cruise. So I can't do it while I'm sitting still, but I'm gonna hop on the highway and we're gonna listen to the engine and do a little Blue Cruise driving. So we're gonna take the Escalade V out onto the highway, and I wanna show you Blue Cruise, but I also want you to listen to this engine because it's fun. And then listen. I was doing it earlier. It is super fun. You do have to be careful. I haven't even gotten on the highway yet, and I'm already going 65 miles an hour. So this car is definitely a troublemaker if you if you're not careful. And then I want you to listen to it has a rev matching. And so after you've revved it, there is definitely a little crackle and pop sound to the engine as you're letting off and letting the engine, you hear that? As the engine speed goes down below about 2,000 RPM, you'll hear that crackle and pop. It's not as noticeable when you're on the highway as it is when you're cruising through your neighborhood, which that did happen. I had it in full V mode and was driving just on normal city streets, and I would give it a little acceleration to get up to speed, and then I would let off, and I can hear the crackle and pop. And at 35 miles an hour, it's very distinct. The real magic behind the wheel of this car and many other cars that are built both by Cadillac and other General Motors brands is something called Super Cruise. And that is essentially hands-free driving that's available on the highway. It has to be on a mapped road and a limited access highway. But on those types of roads, you can actually set it and let the car do the stressful part of the driving. You do have to have your eyes on the road. There is a monitor here that watches you, and if you take your eyes off the road, it will insist that you put your hands on the wheel, and if you don't, it will put the flashers on and it will slow the car down. So assuming that there's something wrong with you. The way that you engage Super Cruise is by tapping the adaptive cruise button here, and you will see a light come on there on the dashboard, and then you have to tap the lane departure assist. It's two dotted lines with a steering wheel in between, and once you have that on, Super Cruise is on. Now you can tap this button to set your speed, and you have this green light here at the top of the steering wheel that lets you know that you are in Super Cruise, and you'll see the notifications here. You'll also see them up here. And if I wanted to turn on my, let's see, now it's telling me Super Cruise disengaged. There was a bump as we went over that bridge, and that uncertain terrain, that uneven terrain, uneven road surface, let the system know that it could not be in control and the driver needed to take control. So let's start it back again. And actually, I think it did just re-engage because it seems to be doing its thing. This light is on here, and that lets me know that it is working. Now let's see if it will. I'm not going to do it yet, but let's see if it'll do it now. Change lanes. Will you change lanes for me? And there it goes. So now it's just changing lanes, and now it's actually going to speed up to the speed that I set it for, and I'm going to take it up even a little bit faster to something closer to what the speed limit is on the highway. And so you can see here I have this augmented reality, so I can see if I have navigation set, I would have navigation in there, which I don't, and then I have the view of the highway, and then I can also see the systems that are at work. So I can see Super Cruise, I can see my speed limit as I've set it, I can see that the lane departure assist is working, and now I'm going to ask it to change lanes for me again. And how cool is that? And I'm going to turn it off, and then I want to change lanes again. So let's see if it'll do it. I think I need to do it myself because I need to get off the road. But it's such a cool system, and these are baby steps to self-driving cars. So once cars are outfitted with this type of system, they're much more closer to being able to drive themselves. And I love how the system allows me to be a participant, so that when the car is capable of driving itself, I feel more confident in what it's able to do, and not just thinking that I'm a victim, or I'm just at the mercy of what this car wants to do. I'm in control, and I like being in control of my car, especially when it's $150,000, 3,000 pound, 680 horsepower, crazy, filled with luxury SUV like this one. Now, I want you to notice everything that the Cadillac has to offer. The V Edition is the top of the line, and it's essentially the Platinum with that engine, with the 680 horsepower engine and all of the drive dynamics that is offered in the V Edition. Now, I want you to notice the screen here. I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to go to I don't want my Apple CarPlay, I want my Cadillac Q System. So I can go to this Cadillac Q System, and I can tap this home button, and I can get different configurations, And here are all my configure all the things I can get. Let's see, there's my camera. So I have a forward-facing camera, which is nice. I can set different views here. I can get the side by side, so I can see either side of the camera's over here underneath, so you can see my hand there. So the camera is underneath the side view mirror, and I can get normal, and I can get wide, and then I can get a nice 360 degree, so I can see all the way here and all the way around here. And this is really great for backing into a spot, backing into to your driveway, something like that, because this is a big car. It takes up all of the spot. So you might need, and there we go. There's our 360 view. That's pretty cool. And there's our front view, there's our rear view, overhead, side, wide. A trailering view, so this gives you the view behind the car if you're trailering. And then let's go back to that. So that's a nice thing. You have to go into this menu to get that, and that's a little clunky. I wish that the camera were right here. I don't see a hot button for that, and that in parking this car, that would be a really nice feature to have. But it is there, and it is pretty great. You see this little green arrow here? That is our phone charger, and I like that the phone charger is actually in this vertical cubby, so it sticks down into here and it holds, and you can see when I put it in there, this little green arrow lights up next to, a little lightning bolt lights up next to the phone. That means it's charging my phone. I love that feature. I also want to show you this, which I keep looking at because I want to see you, but this is a live view mirror. So when I tap this, I get a reflective image, and then when I pull this lever, I get a live view behind the car. And that is really nice, especially when you have the car fully loaded, which I had the car fully loaded yesterday, and really appreciate being able to see out using the camera. Or if it's dark. When it's dark out, the live view camera actually gives you a much better view of the road and a view of what's ahead or what's behind you. When it's dark out, the live view, the video view, actually gives you a much better view of the road and things behind you. You can see things with that camera view that you're not going to be able to see in a simple reflective or traditional reflective mirror view. That part I really like a lot. Now here I want you to notice this curved glass. So there's actually a single panel here, then there's an additional panel here, and this is your driver information screen. Over here, this is all touch sensitive. You can also use the dial to navigate around whatever it is that you want. So you can tap it this way, tap it that way, and get the things that you would like here. And then there's actually a nice screen over here as well that's also touch sensitive, and you can tap your trip odometer, you can set your head-up display, which is right here in the driver's view, and you can turn on night vision, which is a really cool feature, only available when it's dark out. So it's something that you can't use during the day, but it will show you, it will highlight people and animals that are in your view that you may not be able to see. Now I will say the Escalade has great headlights. They're really bright. They illuminate a long way, a long distance. So it was very easy to see in the dark driving this car, but the night vision makes it even better. This car is simply loaded with every feature you could possibly think of, and even some things that are a little novel and a little and delightfully unexpected, like this. This little screen to the left of the driver information screen on the left of the steering wheel gives you a lot of great features. So your options are down here. You can see your trip information here. So there's your trip odometer, You can set that up. I can go to trip 1, I can go to trip 2. Then here is my gauge. I can reset my driver information screen by tapping map. I can set it so that it's a map. I can tap night vision so that I can use the night vision function. It's not available right now. Or I can tap the augmented reality camera. And so if I have navigation on, I can actually get augmented reality navigation right here in my driver information screen, which is pretty awesome. So we're going to go to the closest Valero station right there, and this is going to give me directions, and then I will see those directions here. I will see the directions on the screen, and I will also see, so you can see,
guidance will start now.
So you can see the directions are going to be here, and this is going to show me how to get where I'm going. And then I'll also see it right here in the head-up display. I hope you can see that, but the head-up display will show me as well. So it's really nice to see this reality, overlaying the directions on reality, the real view there, and then also to have my turn-by-turn directions there and in the head-up display. Now I can also just use a traditional map. If I don't want the video camera, I can use the traditional map. And then the top option there gives me my gauges, and I still get navigation right there in my driver information screen. So you have these two buttons here that allow you to quickly fold or unfold, put up or down, the rear seats. So all I have to do is tap that button and the rear seat folds, and I can push it again and the seat goes back up. And I'm really impressed at how fast that happens. Normally it takes some time for the seat to go down or go up, and because I have that seat reclined a little bit, it doesn't go all the way down, I can go back there and fix that. But that is pretty impressive. I really like that feature, especially sitting here in the driver's seat. Up here you'll also notice here is the screen control for the panoramic sunroof, and I can press it to close it or press it to open it. You'll also find the panoramic sunroof here. To open it is here, and to just tilt it is right there. And then here you can set the height of the lift gate. So you can set it to open all the way, or you can set it to open just at a 3/4 opening, or you can just turn this whole thing off, which is pretty nice as well. You know it's a full-size SUV when you need the running boards to climb into the car, and that is the case with the Cadillac Escalade. So it has captain's chairs here in the center, 3 seats in the rear. These 2 captain's chairs have lower anchor latches here for child passenger car seats, and there are tethers on the back. There are 5 tethers in all, but only 2 sets of lower anchors. Now, one thing that I do love about these seats is you can create more or less legroom in the 3rd row by pulling this tab on the side and sliding the seat forward, and it goes pretty far forward. Now, this seat is basically where my driving position is. It's about equal with the driver's seat. I'm 5'8", and so I still have plenty of legroom with this seat all the way forward, which is nice. Or I can put it back, slide it back a little bit, and I can recline it, and it reclines pretty nicely, which I really like. Now, it also will fold flat and it will tumble forward. So if you have a bench and you need to tumble the seat forward to get into the 3rd row, that's how you do it. In this case, but with the captain's chairs, you would just use the pass-through. But in other Escalade models that have a bench, you will need to tumble the seat forward. They're not slide and tilt seats, which is too bad because they actually probably could be, and I like that configuration a little bit better, but it does give you access, very wide access to the 3rd row. Let's talk about what backseat passengers get. So we have 2 HDMI ports here. We have 2 USB-C ports here. We have cup holders that pop out, and then we have air vents here. In a $155,000 SUV, if rear seat passengers don't have heated seats, you should ask why. And luckily, Cadillac thought to do that. We do have air vents, We also have air vents here. We have the grab bar here. There is a coat hanger or a bag hanger here. And then we have a rear seat entertainment system here with headphones. There are wireless headphones that tuck right here into the door panel. So instead of, voila, here they are. Wireless AKG headphones. So backseat passengers can listen to whatever they want, and you can listen to whatever you want. The sound setup in this car is really good. There are a lot of speakers in this premium sound system, not only these, but also in the front headrests, which is pretty cool. You have space in the door panel for a bottle pocket. There's a bottle pocket there. And you have these 2 cup holders, so plenty of places to put your coffee. And the good news is it's not likely that your coffee is going to spill because of Magnaride. What is Magnaride? Well, Magnaride is a magnetic suspension system that eliminates the bumps and makes turns smoother while you're driving. So in a big car like this, especially with a full load, which I noticed yesterday, I drove with a full load. I really appreciated Magnaride. I didn't feel like things were being tossed around the car, sliding through turns and things like that. Even though I wasn't going that fast because I was in city traffic, still, you know, you have loads of boxes and things like that, and you notice them sliding around. I felt like with Magnaride, it was a much easier ride, not only for me, but for all of my stuff as well. To get into the third row, you have 2 choices. One is you can lift this tab on the end and the seat tumbles forward. And from there, it's pretty easy to get into the third row. And then you can pull this tab to put the seat back where it was. It takes some muscle to do this, so you're probably not going to ask your 10-year-old to do it. You're probably going to have to do that for her. And then putting the seat back up is also some heavy lifting. So that's something that you would need to do as well. It takes 2 hands to put this seat in place. But really, the preferable way to get into the third row, and I do just want to show you their headrests here. The preferable way to get into the third row is through that pass-through. Now, this seat is all the way back, and I'm going to show you what my leg room is like behind this seat. So my knees touch the seat. I'm 5'8". I can push this seat forward. It's all the way back. So with the seat forward, it'll be really comfortable for me. And I have plenty of headroom. There's actually a little bit of a cutout here. There is not a sunroof panel here. It's a single pane there in the front. There's not a panel here, but there is a cutout over the passenger seat back here that gives me a little more headroom. I have air vents right up here. I have windows here, and then I've got a USB port and a cup holder and a little place where I can put my phone, and that's really nice. That gives me some nice comforts back here. And then it's a 60-40 split, so I can fold this seat down if I like, or I can fold this seat down and get a little bit of cargo space or a lot more cargo space behind the second row. So Cadillac actually adds a second set of headphones to the entertainment system, so they're here in this box. But here is a second pair of AKG headphones, so your second row passengers can also listen to whatever's on the entertainment screen or whatever's being played in the sound system. So if you're, listening to a historic educational podcast and the teens in the back row want to listen, but little kids in the center row don't want to listen, that makes it pretty easy.